G'day, this is Matt, and we're starting a bit of a journey. This series of videos, we'll be posting one a week, is primarily aimed at those in the Citywide Baptist Church family here in Hobart who are part of a dialogue over this coming year about what it is that we're being called to be as the church. What is the shape that God is inviting us into? Now, this video will be up on the internet and hopefully will be useful for people from other churches who are also thinking about what their future will be about. But each week we'll post another short video, and our goal is that these videos will be the basis of dialogue, the basis of discussion. And each week I'll just be talking about one idea and starting to think about what does that actually mean for us. So let's dive straight into it. There's one very simple idea I want to start this discussion with as we talk about where is it that God is taking us as a church. And it is this idea that the structures that we create around us shape us. There's a man by the name of Clement Stone. He said, "You are a product of your environment. So choose the environment that will best develop you towards your objective. Analyze your life in terms of its environment. Are the things around you helping you towards success, or are they holding you back?" So what's he saying? He's saying much the same as Winston Churchill said, actually. Winston Churchill, about 60 or 70 years ago, it was recorded in Hansard as saying, "We build our buildings, then our buildings shape us." And what that means is there's a whole lot of assumptions we bring to the world because of the structures that surround us. And there are physical structures that are things like the shape and function of buildings. This office is a physical structure. The shape and structure of the building here at Mornington is quite different to the shape and structure of the building at Lena Valley, but both of them are physical structures. How chairs are arranged is a part of the physical structures. The shape of a table, how a meal is laid out, the decorations on a wall, the state of repair of a building, how well things work or don't work, whether there is signage or not, and how helpful the signage is. All these things are examples of the physical structures. In addition to physical structures, there are also social structures, structures that help us engage together or disengage from each other. Things like an agenda of a meeting or a calendar of meetings, a job description or a dress standard, corporate policies. All these things are examples of social structures that are clearly delineated. But often there are social structures that aren't mentioned. Things like what jokes are acceptable, who has room to influence or who doesn't have room to influence, whether children are welcome or how welcome children are, whether you should take off your shoes when you enter a house or not, or what corporate policies that are written on paper everyone knows you can ignore, or whether people take meetings seriously or not. All these things are examples of the social structures. What I want to do over this next week is just encourage you to actually look around. In a minute, just look around the room in where you're currently watching this video, or watch what happens this week. What does the rooms you enter, the way people relate to each other, tell you about what the structures, the physical and social structures are? And there you go, that phone is another example of a social structure. So that is the homework, and just wanting to start this discussion as we talk about where God is taking us as a church, just to realise how profoundly the physical and the social structures that exist both in the church and in our houses and in our workplaces and in where we join sports teams or at shopping centres, how the physical and social structures shape us. So to start to be aware of that and to start to see what do you think about that? Are there obvious places? And I'd love you to feed back in the comments section below. Are there obvious places where you see the physical structures helping or not helping, or the social structures helping or not helping, particularly as it relates to church. And for those of us at Citywide Baptist Church, particularly starting to think about what about the physical and social structures mean for us. Next week, we're going to look at specifically what are some of the assumptions behind our current physical and social structures. But until next week, great to have you on this journey as together we explore what it is that God is calling us to. What are the next steps for the church?